Hello my bookish besties and welcome into another video of Bookmas. Today I thought it'd be fun to discuss my top 25 reads out of the over 100 books that I got to reading this year. So without further ado, let's get into the pile. In 25th place we have Sunrise on the Reaping. This is by Suzanne Collins. This was obviously a fantastic book. I'm not saying it's not by putting it in 25th place. I'm just saying, for me personally, I read other books that impacted me more than this one. I think for me, I had only ever watched the Hunger Games movies until this year, so like I've never been a super diehard fan or anything. And to me, this book was very predictable. Like, we knew what was going to happen. We mostly knew his backstory. Like, it was obviously phenomenal still, and I'm stoked for the movie. But I do fear that this book just wasn't life-changing for me the way it was for some of y'all. And I'm really sorry about that. In 24th place, this is just a placeholder book that I'm holding up, but that would have to be The Last Dragon. This is an indie published book by Monty K. Rue. I just had such a fun time reading it. It follows so many of the tropes and just like stories that I really like. It is about basically this guy who is on this team. They're fighting the last dragon, or sorry, they're hunting the last dragon. And it's told from a male POV. And I just thought it was super unique and unlike anything I'd read before. And I'm really excited for book 2. 23rd is a novel love story. This is by Ashley Poston. This is one of those weird books where like I almost don't remember a single thing that happened, but I was so obsessed with it. Like, I genuinely read this in one sitting, which I don't do a ton. From what I remember, oh, I forgot that my book, like the back here, the like casing or whatever that makes it shiny is like deteriorating. Anywho, from what I remember, this is about a girl who ends up in the world of her favorite book, and she meets another guy there who she can tell kind of doesn't belong, and you follow their love story, and it's a beautiful, you know, story of grief and just real life, and I love everything she's ever written. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend this one. 22nd goes to Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. Again, this is just one of those books that had me like giggling and kicking my feet. It was so funny, so good. I again think I read this in a sitting or two. It's basically about these two like rival chess players. I thought the tension was super good. I thought for YA it was really good. It showed her writing chops minus the spice, and I really appreciated that. And yeah, I just thought her characters were super cutie, and I really had a good time reading this. It had me passionate about a sport that I know literally nothing about, so I'd say that's a pretty good book. The 21st book goes to Passion Project by London Sperry. I'm kind of seeing a trend here. Again, I read this in one sitting. I just found these characters super relatable for me, and I thought that the message of this book was really good. In my 24-hour readathon where I read this book, I was bawling my eyeballs out reading this, and I just thought the messaging was really sweet. Like I said, it's basically about a girl and a guy who start dating because they're trying to like, she's trying to like re-find her spark for life. So I just thought it was really cute. It was also really fun because I really like New York City, and this perfectly embodies that. My 20th place book is Onyx Storm. This is one of those weird books that like personally I loved it, okay? Like, I understand why everyone else didn't, but I also did love it so much, and part of the reason I liked it a lot was actually the other people, I guess. Like, I had so much fun after reading this, going online and reading everyone's fan theories and their favorite scenes and just all of that. I had such a good time with this book, but I think it's nostalgia in a way. Like, I just have such a fond memory of the Fourth Wing universe that I could read about them going to the grocery store and I'd still be super happy. So, Onyx Storm, I love you, bestie. In 19th place we have Mockingjay. Like I mentioned earlier, I hadn't read the Hunger Games books until this year. Hot take, I think Mockingjay is the best of the 3 books. Catching Fire was boring. I'm sorry. Why do they spend literally 200 of the 300 pages like on a press tour? I don't care. Get to the freaking arena. Anywho, I liked how action-packed and like crazy this book was. I had such a good time reading it. Like I mentioned, I had watched the movies, but it had been so long that I had forgotten a lot of the details. And yeah, I just had such a good time reading this for the first time as a like 26-year-old adult. In 18th place, we have Metal Slinger. I got this book as an ARC like 2 months before it released, and I had such a fun time reading it. It's like one of those weird stories where, like, once again, I understand why people are kind of iffy about it. The ending is bonkers, but I just had such a good time in this world and with these characters. I love our 2 main characters. I'm super curious to see what happens in book 2. This is the indie paperback version, and I am kind of emo that I have this copy because my book 2 is not gonna match, but that's okay. It's one of those books that I think I really want to reread to figure out if I can figure out the ending. You know what I mean? Like, did I see it coming? Because when I read it for the first time, I did not see that ending. Yeah, I don't know. This one, it's just fun vibes. I just had, it was just right book, right time, I think. I love this cover. In 16th place, we have My Friends by Frederick Bachman. This is one of those books that, like, the message was really beautiful and I kind of liked the story, but I do fear it was a tad overhyped. Like, I still obviously had an amazing time reading this and still placed it fairly highly on my list, but I do think it was a little bit overhyped, but at the same time, I loved it. Like, I just love everything this man writes. This is basically about a girl. She's in love with the painting that's on the cover, her whole life, and eventually she meets the artist, and basically, you know, it changes her life. And we follow her and kind of go in this, like, dual timeline type thing where he's telling stories of the past, but then she's also, like, in the present with him, like, you know, figuring out about herself. And just, yeah, I thought it was a really well done story. Super emotional, just a tad overhyped. Like, I didn't cry as hard as y'all told me I would. 15, we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Again, this is just one of those books that, like, I related to in a way that, like, made me love this. It's about these 2 writers basically competing to write the biography of a famous actress. It's giving, like, Daisy Jones and the Six meets The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo meets something like those. But I don't know. It's like one of those books that maybe if I reread it, I wouldn't like it as much. But again, I think it was right book, right time. I thought their love story was really sweet. I thought the backstory of the author, like the lady they're writing about, was really sweet. And I just had a really good time reading this, to be honest. In 14th place, we have First Time Call. Is that right? Okay, I lied. This is 16. This is 15. I need my, like, list in front of me so I can remember this numbering. But, oh well. Anywho, the moral of the story is the next book is First Time Caller. It's by B.K. Borson. This is just such a feel-good, happy romance. I had such a good time reading it. Genuinely, I loved this story. It's basically about a woman. This man, he runs a, like, love advice news hotline type thing, but he doesn't believe in love. And she is like a single mom to like a 7-ish-year-old, I think, or maybe she's 12. She's some age. Yeah. Anywho, the moral of the story is he doesn't believe in love, runs a love advice talk show type thing. She, like, kind of believes in love, but, like, nah. But her daughter calls in and basically asks him to help her mom find love. So we follow them. The story is told in such a unique way where, like, some of the chapters are literally their, like, you know, news interviews, and then some of the other chapters are them hanging out or, you know, them just living their daily lives, and I love it. I'm so excited for the second book. It's coming out in, like, February, I think. But yeah, I think it was perfect. Book 14, if I have my numbering right. I've confused myself really bad. The next book is The Invisible Life by Addie LaRue. This book, again, is just so beautiful, and the way it explores the human condition ripped my heart out. This follows Addie. She has been cursed so that nobody ever remembers her, but one day she meets someone who does remember her. So we follow her through this journey of trying to be remembered, trying to just, like, figure out what does life even mean without someone to remember you by. And then we follow the guy who can suddenly remember her, and then there's a third character. In fact, I got this art print when I was at Dragonsteel of the 3 characters. I think it's really cool. definitely not how I pictured them personally, but yeah, I don't know. Again, this is just one of those stories that touched me so deeply that I have to put it on this list. And also, I think the writing in this is so poetically beautiful. Like, this is just one of those stories that, like, I think I'll remember the message for a long time. Number 13, we have Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I will warn you, pretty much the rest of the list consists of like 84% Brandon Sanderson. So, there's your warning right now. But Warbreaker, this is about two sisters. One is destined to be queen, and the other is destined to just, you know, live at home, be a normal girl. But last minute, their father changes his mind and sends the other sister in the place of the sister who's been training her whole life to be queen. And obviously drama happens, stuff happens. So we follow, it's like a dual timeline type book where we follow both the sister who has trained her whole life as she goes basically on this mission to try to save her sister, and then we follow the other sister as she navigates this political royal world that she was never really supposed to join. And then we follow, you know, like 3 or 4 other main characters who all have their own super funny and crazy stories as well. And yeah, this is just one of those like crazy good Brandon Sanderson stories. I love the magic system in here. It is breath-based, it's color-based. Just, yeah, I love Warbreaker. In 12th place, I have The Way of Kings, again, by Brandon Sanderson. This was the first book in the Stormlight Archive. This book is so good, but again, I do feel like it's right book, right time, because this is one of those books that I read after reading quite a few other Cosmere novels, and I will say I'm not sure I would have liked it as much if I didn't have all the other Cosmere connections. Like, obviously, I have a ton of Cosmere connections. I ate this book up. It is so action-packed. The characters are phenomenal. So much happens, but yeah, I love this book literally so much, like with my whole entire heart, actually. If you want, I do have a full, like, spoiler-free combo vlog out on my channel in my Cosmere catch-up series if you want to go watch that for a more in-depth, you know, deep dive into why I love The Way of Kings so much. But let's just say this book literally blew my mind. Like, for over 1,000 pages, it didn't feel like that. The 11th book on my list is Dungeon Crawler Carl, but specifically The Butcher's Masquerade. This is the only book I own physically, though. The Butcher's Masquerade, I believe, is it's either the 5th or the 6th book. No, it's the 5th, because then we have the Eye of the Bedlam Bride and the Inevitable Ruinous 7. So yeah, the 5th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, The Butcher's Masquerade, is my favorite of the series, I think, so far. I'm not going to say too much because, like I said, it is the 5th book in a series, but it is just so good. The found family in it was phenomenal. The action in it was phenomenal. The drama in it was phenomenal. If you want to know a little bit about Dungeon Crawler Carl, the series as a whole, though, basically, our main character Carl and his ex-girlfriend's cat Donut are outside causing some shenanigans when the world collapses. And he has a choice. He can either go into the dungeon and compete in this basically like video game style, you know, reality TV style war, or he can live on the surface and just hope he survives. So Carl and Donut decide to go into the dungeon, and from there chaos ensues, like literally so much. And yeah, it's just so good. I highly recommend this series. It is one of those series that is recommended for video gamers, like people that enjoy games, but I do think that you could quite enjoy this book even if you've never gamed a day in your life. It's just one of those feel-good, happy, fantasy adjacent books. Highly recommend, especially in audiobook form. Jeff Hayes. Okay, we have reached the top 10 books of the year, in my humble opinion. These are the good ones, the best of the best, the creme de la creme. Is that what they say? I don't know. But we're about to get into my absolute favorite reads of 2025. So let's get into them. In 10th place, we have The Favorites. This is by Lane Fargo. If you somehow have not heard about this book, this is about 2 ice dancers, and it's about their rise to the top and their quick decline to the bottom. It's Again, it's similar to Daisy Jones and the Six in that it's told in kind of that documentary interview style where we follow both the present day in these interviews where people are saying like, oh yeah, you know, I remember that incident, that was crazy, but then we also follow the past timeline of them getting to the top, rising to their fame, and it was just so juicy. I read this while I was sick, so like not only does this book feel like a fever dream, I was having like literal fever dreams, but I read this, I want to say back in January, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. In ninth place, we have the first Mistborn novel. This is by Brandon Sanderson once again. This book I just have to include on this list because it has such nostalgic feelings for me. Again, I read this pretty early into the year, but it's one of those books that I haven't really stopped thinking about since. It is just such a vibe. I love... I've like never looked at this cover super in depth. It's awesome actually. But anywho, what I'm saying is I love the vibes of this book. It's basically if Six of Crows and Bridgerton kind of came together into one novel. This is about a girl who joins this like, basically this book, let me go back. This book is about what would happen if the bad guy won and then people rise up to try to defeat the bad guy who had won once upon a time. So we follow our main character, Vin, as she kind of joins this crowd of misfits and discovers her own powers along the way. It is crazy. It has Regency balls. It has a heist. It has amazing characters and just, yeah, I love Mistborn with my whole heart, honestly. Speaking of Mistborn, in 8th place we have The Alloy of Law. This is the first book in the second series of Mistborn, so this is Mistborn book 4, I believe. This is just one of those books that had me like literally on the edge of my seat. I was laughing so hard. I actually love these characters. Wax and Wayne are hilarious. Their powers are just so cool. They add guns to the world in this book, and I just had such a good time reading this. It like truly brought me out of a little bit of a Brandon Sanderson slump I was developing, and just, yeah, the vibes of this book are immaculate. Basically, we follow our two main characters, Wax and Wayne, as they used to be, you know, if you've ever seen the TV show Firefly, they give the vibes of that. Basically, they used to be, you know, kind of cowboy, what's the word I'm looking for? Like cowboy law people out in the rough parts of town, but one day something happens and Wax decides he's retiring, but then something happens again and he's like, okay, I'm back, y'all got me. So we follow them as they fight crime and do crazy things, and I loved it. In the 7th place, we have The Emperor's Soul, once again by Brandon Sanderson. I'm sorry, I read so much Brandon Sanderson this year, sue me. This is about a girl who's a Neil Caffrey level like art forger, and she gets asked to forge something she has never forged in her life, and that is the Emperor's Soul. She is asked to, you know, can you basically recreate somebody to put them, like to fix them? And so we follow her journey in trying to discover, is this magic even possible? It explores such deep themes and like has a complete total story in just like 150-ish pages. Highly, highly recommend. You could read this if you've never even read anything else by Brandon Sanderson, and I would highly recommend you do that. In 6th place, we have Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. It's been a long time since we talked about a romance, I feel like, but this one, I read this in one sitting once again, and like the second I finished it, I was like, yeah, I need to pick that up and read it again. What do you mean? It is just so good. It again had me giggling and kicking my feet, and it's just such a good, funny time. It's like a crazy age gap drama about these two characters, and they just have such tension. Like, it's a forbidden romance in a way. It's like a will they, won't they. It was just so good. It takes place in an Italian summer wedding. Like, what more could you ask for? Okay, this one is a little shocking to me, but in 5th place I have The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. This book just moved me in such a way that I don't think I could explain in just a little like 2-minute blurb. But basically we follow our main character Georgia as she, you know, navigates grief. Her father has recently died, but before her father had passed away, she had kind of been outcast from her family. So we follow her journey in coming back and what that means. But the way Jessa explores religion and religious trauma and religious views and all of that in this book just spoke to me on such a deeply personal level that I have to put this book in 5th place. Do I agree with Jessa Hastings? No. Did this book literally like fundamentally change me as a person? Yes, it did. And it's like a book that I think that I will be thinking about for a long time. Granted, I did rate it 4 stars though, because the freaking editorial errors in this book, get it together. But yeah, this is just one of those books that the way it affected me makes it my number 5. Okay, number 4, we have another Mistborn novel. This is the 3rd Mistborn book. It is The Hero of Ages. Again, speaking of books that just moved me so deeply, I was sobbing when I finished this book. It is the 3rd in the Mistborn trilogy, so I won't go into depth too much about the specifics of this book, but just the last like 200-ish pages moved me so deeply. I love these characters. I love the journey they went on. I love the message. I love literally everything about this trilogy. Like, the more Brandon Sanderson I read, the more I kind of think Mistborn might just be my favorite world he's written. But anywho, yeah, many tears were shed. Oh boy, speaking of tears being shed, this is Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. Again, this is the 6th book in a series, so I'm not going to go too in depth about what this book specifically is about. But when I finished this, I sobbed. Like, violently sobbed my eyeballs out. It was just so good. Again, the found family in this series is top notch. The characters themselves, without even the found family aspect, are top notch. The story and the trauma and the emotions that you feel by book 6 in this series are just so, like, they are just, I feel it such deeply in my core that like it hurts me to think about. That being said, I couldn't put Lightbringer at 1 because it's one of those books that I can't remember. Like, I remember what happens in the series as a whole, but I feel like Lightbringer specifically, I don't remember very many like specific scenes. So I do need to give this a reread because I just do think it took me a little too long to read this, to the point that I have forgotten the key elements. Like, I do remember some of the major scenes. Like, obviously, I remember that ending, and I remember some of the events leading up to the ending. But I do remember this book impacting me so deeply. So, 3rd place. In 2nd place, this might come kind of as a surprise to some people, myself included, but that's The Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. It's one of those books that, like, before reading it, I knew I was going to love it, but I didn't know I was going to love it. Again, I do have a vlog of me reading a majority of this book up on my channel, but to give you a little recap, this is about Miss Alex Stern. She is, I don't even know how to describe her. She is basically somebody who gets hired by this university's secret society to not spy on, but keep an eye on, I guess. She is hired by the secret society to be someone who watches the other secret societies and make sure they're, doing their rules, being good people, etc. So we follow her journey. My goodness. But naturally, stuff goes wrong. We learn so much about Alex's tragic past. We have such amazing characters. Dawes. I love Dawes. She might be one of my favorite characters from this whole year. And we learn about Alex's mentor, Darlington. Dawes, Darlington, and Galaxy. Like, Leigh, just take all my money. These names are flawless. Flawless. But anywho, yeah, this book was tragic. It was dark, but it was so thought-provoking and so beautiful. I have to read Hellbent. And then last but not least, my favorite read of the year, Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. Listen, this is the highest rated book on Goodreads for a reason, okay? This book is literally crazy. It has some of the best scenes I've literally ever read in my whole entire life. There's like 2 or 3 scenes in here specifically that I have been thinking about since the day I finished this book. Originally, I did like The Way of Kings a little bit more than this book, but the more I sit on it, the more I realize this is just like, it is the perfect sequel in my opinion. Like I said, there's so many iconic scenes. The characters just go through such great arcs and just, yeah, I just love this book so much. Again, it's the 2nd in a series, so you're just gonna have to believe me, but if the highest rating on Goodreads didn't already convince you, let this be your sign to pick up the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. But anywho, those are my top reads of the year from this past year, 2025. It is currently like, I think there's a little under 2 weeks left, so I might be able to fit like 2 or 3 more books in, but I doubt any of them make this list. But anywho, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments below what books made your top list this year, and let me know if we have any books in common. Let me know if any of the books that I liked you are now going to add to your TBR. And yeah, anywho, I'll see you guys in the next video.